What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of DevTalks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering technology wise. And in this video, we're going to be covering another video from Pooja, where she talks about why most software engineers are not going to likely survive. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's dive right in.
99% of software engineers are making the same mistake, and it's going to cost them their careers. And how do I know this? I worked at Microsoft as a software engineer. I worked with some of the best and the brightest people in the industry, and I've interviewed countless other engineers from big tech companies.
It's very easy to code, but it's harder to build software. And you don't learn to build software unless you're working for a bigger company.
The best ones all shared the same trait, the kind of mindset that makes them impossible to replace, even as AI starts to replace more and more jobs. In this video, I'll show you exactly what they're doing differently and how you can join the 1% that will thrive in 2026. When you think of a doctor or a therapist or a firefighter, their job doesn't really change. A doctor diagnoses and treats illnesses. A firefighter puts out fires. Sure, technology evolves, but the foundation of the profession stays the same. You won't see a firefighter position transition to a therapist position, for example. Each of these professions have a solid foundation of what they are. You can probably see where I'm going with this. Software engineering is different, and that's why it was so in demand for the last decade. The output of the profession is always the same, better software, but the input, the tools and methods that you use, is constantly shifting. Unlike medicine or firefighting, there isn't one set formula, and this is the key that the top 1% understand. You're not.
My thing is with the medicine part, like anybody in the medical field, I feel like the medical field does shift to some scale, and it's definitely going to shift more and more because the same way that we get new tools, the people in the medical field, they get new tools. They get better equipment. They get new medicines. They get a bunch of other stuff, and we get different programming stuff like that when it comes to coding and things around that scale. And now, right now, we have AI, and that's considered a better tooling for us in a sense. There's people in medicine going to get better tools to carry out surgery better, especially in the future. So it's hard for me to say that like it doesn't shift in some of the sense, but I do get what she's trying to say here.
Not just a coder, you're a builder, and you have to build with whatever tools exist. Otherwise, faster and better builders will leave you behind. For the last decade, coding was that tool, but that's quickly changing. Take a look at the micro level. Tech stacks never stay the same. Within just 5 to 6 years, web development flipped entirely, from jQuery to Angular to React. And React itself keeps reinventing itself every few years. Hooks in 2019, server components today, whole specialties vanish or shrink in a single decade. And now, AI. Here's the thing most people miss. AI isn't new. It's existed since the 70s, but just like computers existed before the personal computer, what's changed is commercialization. For the first time, AI is accessible. It's easy enough for everyone to use. And once that happens, iteration explodes. Suddenly, we've got multimodal agents, specialized LLMs, open datasets with millions of entries, and anyone can plug in. And that's why this shift is as big as the internet. And the top 1% of developers already know this. They're not resisting AI, they're embracing it, and they're building with it. Here's the harsh truth. Coding is no longer the most important skill to have. Systems engineering and prompt engineering have now replaced that.
And this is 100% correct in this aspect, but I want to take this back real quick a few seconds because they did the one interview and the woman said that you only learn how to build software in one of the bigger companies. And of course, all these big companies are doing layoffs right now and going across that thing because of AI and how it's being used. But I think that's only true in certain divisions or organizations in the company. There's some, and a lot of times, maybe in like a medium scale company or maybe some startups, maybe they'll lease other people's softwares and things. And it's just integrating their softwares into yours and you just build up from there. Some startups are very unique where all you're doing is building up new software to a certain degree, especially if it's a really early startup where they don't even have capital funds and things. It's there's just somebody just grinding away. So I don't think it's a big company, smaller company, because a lot of engineers, and when I say engineers, I mean like software engineers and things like that, can get caught doing some work that's really extremely repetitive that keeps them from wanting to pay people who just code or just do the repetitive stuff. to an extent, especially where we're going into this is coding is not the most important tool anymore. And I think that they're going to take this out of interviews to some extent as well in the future. Uh, because you need to know how to prompt and system design. Those are going to be the two biggest things ever. And if you can prompt, you most likely will learn how to design other systems and go beyond that. And the best way to learn, I think, designing systems and things is starting low as places, smaller companies and things, and building up. A lot of the bigger companies, again, they already have a lot of things already set in place, especially depending on what teams you're getting on. And a lot of decisions are, you would have to work closely with some of the staff engineers who are making a lot of those decisions to who are architecting and who are designing and doing all this other stuff, right? And I'm actually getting really interested into the whole architectural stuff in space that I'm in right now. But prompting is the biggest thing. We've talked about this on the channel actually several times. You look at Fiverr CEO, right? We did a video on Fiverr CEO and he was saying, yeah, you have to learn how to prompt engineers. That's what we're looking for. The better you can prompt, the more stuff that and output that you can get. You can get the results that we're looking for. We don't want you to spend 8 hours coding anymore. We want you to prompt this together in half an hour and then implement it and then debug it and then use that same tool to help you with your debugging so you're not spending days and days with the errors. You have to be able to promptly know how to prompt. Get it? The biggest things. And then besides the prompting, how can you put all of these different systems together? How, like system engineering and everything. I'm sure she's going to get all into this. Trust me. We've watched a lot of Pooja's content on this channel. And a lot meaning like three videos probably. This be like the fourth one. But they're really big components now because if the AI can take all the time out of coding out of your hands, this is what you need to be good at. So how do you get good at it? Hey, you can do it in your free time and look for companies where you have the ability to grow and build more further into it.
Think back to that little equation from earlier. For doctors or firefighters, the input is fixed. For software engineers, the input is systems engineering and prompt engineering now. That's the new coding. Here's the best analogy that I can give: writing research papers. Before the internet, you'd spend hours digging through books in the library. The internet made that step obsolete. You could just Google it now, but you still had to read, analyze, and piece everything together. AI is the next step. Now, instead of searching, reading, and comparing, AI does all of that instantly. But here's the catch. You still need to guide it through things. You still need to know the bigger picture. You need to know when to use authentication, pipelines, a firewall, a Kubernetes cluster. AI removes the grunt work, but you're still the architect. Let's look at an example of understanding system design in order to guide an AI. So imagine you tell an AI, build me an Uber clone. What you'll get back is chaos. A bunch of random code snippets that don't really fit together. But if you understand system design, you can guide it. So you know the system needs 3 core services: a rider service, a driver service, and a matching service. You also know it needs real-time location, GPS updates, a pub/sub messaging system. It also needs a payment gateway and authentication, and it should be event-driven, so riders and drivers can sync instantly. Now, instead of asking AI for an Uber clone, you can prompt, generate a microservice for ride matching that listens to a queue of ride requests and assigns the nearest driver based on location data from the rider and driver services. Suddenly, AI isn't guessing anymore. It's filling the exact part of the system that you've designed. That's the difference. Without system design, AI is a toy. With system design, AI is a really capable teammate. Do you see the difference there? You can't just ask AI to magically create something for you. You kind of have to treat it like your own personal Jarvis. Now, we covered a little bit about systems engineering, but what about prompt engineering? Well, in the previous example, you can see the difference between using a good prompt versus a bad prompt. Systems and prompt engineering go hand in hand. Even if you know a system really well, the kicker is you have to be able to communicate with the AI to give it an understanding of what you want too. That way, it can use the guidelines that you have and build on top of that. Here are some examples of prompts. So let's ask the AI to make an e-commerce app. Yeah, that one's Not so good. A better one might be generate a checkout service in Python that validates the user's shopping cart, connects to Stripe for payment, updates the inventory service after successful payment. That's a much better prompt, and it gives the AI guidance on what you want. Let's look at another bad prompt. Create a chat app. We have no idea what that means. A much better prompt would be write a WebSocket-based chat service in Go that handles authentication via JWT, stores messages in MongoDB, and supports real-time broadcasting to chat rooms. So you can kind of see the difference between bad prompt engineering and good prompt engineering, and that is going to be vital moving forward as a software engineer. I mentioned earlier that being in the top 1% of software engineers means more than just writing good code. But what's most important is understanding things like systems and prompt engineering. Today's sponsor is Zero to Max.
Oh no, we not. I was like, why we jump into a new day, yo? I'm sitting here like, how we jump into a new day like that? She got a whole new change in look and everything about that. But yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much almost got the gist of things, right? I would say we pretty much got the gist of things. What do you guys think? We've seen so many CEOs, especially in tech CEOs, talk about this stuff, and especially the prompt engineering. They a lot system engineering. That's something new, that I don't see a lot of people actually talking about. Your actual architectural skills are going to take you a far and long way in being a software engineer and anything like that. Being able to piece things together and go from that, it's literally going to take you further than anywhere else is, alongside the prompt engineering. And I love that she gave those examples, in a sense there, is because you can kind of guide it into giving you exactly what you want. And then you just have to review and test it. And that's exactly what we were talking about. Like, once again, if you want to finish out the rest of our video or anything like that, check it out in the link in the description down below. Also, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this. If you're a software engineer, how are you guys doing it? Are you shifting on how you are using your different tools? Because you know our tech stack is always going to constantly change and go from there. We always have to stay up to date as being a software engineer. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, if you have any recommendations, send me an email at devtalkspod@gmail.com. Without further ado, peace. See y'all next time.